Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm rising with a parliamentary inquiry. I was trying to show the House Speaker the House rules, rule number 32, in which it gives us some protection of democracy, that anytime the Speaker cannot unilaterally decide to shut off a member's microphone and shut us down from speaking, but we can challenge it under Rule 32. And I was trying to be recognized under Rule 32 to poll 5 members to object and overturn the Speaker's ruling, because we still are a democracy. And you cannot unilaterally shut off our microphones, shut off debate, and shut off members who represent 78,000 people from speaking. And so I wanted to appeal your ruling, and I want to understand the clerk, if he can explain this rule to the House, the way to appeal the rulings of the Speaker from shutting off people's microphone.
Mr. Clark.
Mr. Speaker, the representative quoted Rule 32, appeals to House on rulings of the Speaker. That applies to rulings made on motions. For example, if a member makes a motion and the Speaker rules that motion out of order, 5 members can challenge that appeal. What the representative is addressing falls under Rule 19, transgression of rules by member. I will read it exactly. Any member who, in speaking or otherwise, transgresses the rules of the House, the Speaker shall, or any other member may, call such transgressing member to order, in which case the member so called to order shall immediately sit down, unless permitted to explain. And the House shall, if appealed to, decide the case without debate. If there be no appeal, the decision of the chair shall prevail. If the decision be in favor of the member called to order, such member shall be permitted to proceed without leave of the House. If otherwise, such member shall not be permitted to proceed in case any member objects and continues without leave of the House. And if the case require it, such members shall be liable to the censure of the House.
Representative Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In that provision, it says the appeal that there is an appeal. Rule number 32, which the parliamentarian just told us before he spoke to the House Speaker, says any 5 members of the House may appeal to the House from the ruling of the Speaker, and a majority vote of the members present shall decide the appeal. There is a way to appeal the ruling of the Speaker for any type of motion, for any type of decision made. This is what the rules say. This is still a democracy. We cannot make up the rules simply to appeal and to appease the Speaker, Mr. Parliamentarian. And so Rule 32 clearly lays out a process of a 5-member objection to appeal any ruling of the Speaker, and that's what you just told myself and Leader Camper as we were standing up there
Mr. Clerk,
in the dais.
Let's answer his question, I think.
Mr. Speaker, what I'm trying to explain is that these are 2 different processes. I'm not saying that if a member is called out of order for their speaking, that they can't be appealed to. Rule 19 says that that appeal can be made, and it doesn't even require 5 members. If members object to a member being ruled out of order, then the House shall decide the case without debate. Rule 32 is for motions that are ruled out of order. I'm not saying that when a member is called out of order and told to sit down, which the rule says they shall sit down, that can't be appealed.
Representative Pearson.
Where in our rules does it say that those rulings have to be specific to motions?
Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, what I'm speaking about, appeals to ruling of the chair, challenging the chair. There are other provisions in the Mason's manual that I can provide. I will admit the rule does not specifically say that it applies to motions. I'm saying that you can appeal under Rule 19 for what happened earlier today.
Representative Pearson.
Herein lies the challenge of this institution and of the rule-making process that happens on the floor. There is nothing specifically saying that it's specific to motions that an appeal can be made by 5 members. And yet you spoke so definitively that that was the case, and that was wrong. Now you've mentioned another code, not in our permanent rules, related to this issue. And it turns the rules that we talk about going by in their permanence into tools to be used by the parliamentarian or the speaker to keep things the way that they are. Because we know, because myself and Representative Jones actually were expelled from this body, that we did not obey Rule 19. And so just stating that a rule is a rule does not mean it is being applied appropriately. And so we need to have an intentional reality check with ourselves about what the rules do and do not do beyond the opinion of the parliamentarian and to the democratically voted on rules of the body.